All right, think it through. Hi, welcome to your weekly update. Did you know I am a huge cinephile? I love movies. I love good movies of any era. I like going back and watching movies from the 40s and 50s, that film noir and the Humphrey Bogart stuff. I love the stuff from the 60s and 70s. I love the Clint Eastwood westerns and the disaster movies. Of course, I grew up in the 80s, so I love that kind of cheesy 80s sci-fi stuff, all the Spielberg stuff. And all the way up to now, I just love movies. I also love terrible movies. I love the heart that goes into trying to create something, even if it turns out not very good. Somebody tried hard to do it, and sometimes they can be unintentionally hilarious. So I like to watch those. And a lot of times when I'm trying to share a movie with a family member or a friend that I love, that means a lot to me, sometimes it's one of those older movies, and they'll say, it's black and white. Or they'll say, oh, it's a foreign film, because I like Japanese samurai movies or French New Wave films. And they'll be like, I'm not into the stuff that's, different than what I'm used to, than my own culture. And I gotta say, that was probably me at the beginning until I gave it a try. And then I realized, wow, this stuff is really great. And it's fascinating. And there's a lot to this that, it isn't my culture, but it's awesome. A couple weeks ago on these updates, I talked about the concept of epistemology. Why do we think what we think? Not just what do we think, but how do we get there? What is the way that we're wired? What is the way our culture teaches us to learn? And that idea of not everybody has that same background, not everybody has the same culture, and so it's important for us to understand where someone else is coming from. And so today, I just wanted to encourage you, try something that's outside of your normal preferences. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's a movie. Maybe it's walking into a store downtown Longmont that you otherwise wouldn't go see. Go try and meet somebody who has a different perspective on the world than you do. Why? Well, because if we have the gospel, we need to be sharing it with people who otherwise might not. And a great quote I saw posted from R.C. Sproul, who was a theologian who just passed away recently. He said, evangelism is simply one beggar telling another beggar where to find the bread. And I think there's something to that. And a lot of times it might be worth reaching across the aisle. It might be worth walking into a different place and just being a normal human being and being nice and making friends. And if you end up having a completely different epistemology, okay, you now have grown and possibly influenced somebody. And so it's worth the time. So I wanted to encourage you and challenge you with that. There is a lot of stuff going on here at Grace Church. Did I say a lot? I meant a lot. Starting this Sunday, 8:30, 10:15, we'll be finishing our series in 2 Corinthians. You won't want to miss it. Be wrapping up with a fun way to kind of tie the whole book together. And then afterwards, we have a ministry leaders meeting over lunch. For those of you who are leaders of various ministry teams in our church, please come. Many of you already know about that, but just a reminder, that's this Sunday after the service. And then we have an Awana kickoff on Sunday, and we have new small groups that we're going to be starting up here in the next few weeks. You'll be hearing a lot more about that. We have new classes for adults starting on Sundays and Wednesdays at the end of this month. We got a women's retreat coming up in September. There's just a lot of moving pieces as we head into the fall. And I know you're like, but Jeff, it's only like August 11th or 12th or 13th maybe when I watch this. It's not fall yet. I mean, for crying out loud, it's 105 degrees outside. Aha. But here in Colorado, it's amazing. School starts like third week of August. It's crazy. So between now and Labor Day, there will be a lot of preliminary meetings and different ways to get to know other people before we hit the fall schedule in September. There's also a Pizza with the Pastors next Sunday after the church service. You won't want to miss that either. So all of that to say, there's a lot happening, and we would love to get to know you better through any or all of it. Hope to see you soon. Till next time, I'm Jeff. You're you. God is God. And meet somebody new today.